Skibidi Toilet 79 Part 3. Not gonna lie, chat, I'm pretty hyped for this. I want the humans to come back. So yummy.
Nothing goes according to plan these days. Idiot. You are all important to me.
W. Polly. Gotta come back. You gotta come back. It's not looking good right now.
I can't fight it. My job is down here. Either they can't shoot, or it was a deliberate miss. I don't sense any enemies around. Cameras would detect any spies.
I was probably made in 1 month. I didn't know it took that long. That's crazy.
Must be more tracking devices. Find them all.
I feel like I'm on a mission. Gotta find all the devices and destroy them. Okay.
Is it all?
No, there's like 3 more. Your head. Okay, 2 more.
Let's get out of here. It's just a matter of time until you shut up. Now, this place.
Dang, bro.
You want me on swords?
But you know he not doing no one-on-ones. No one-on-ones. Oh my gosh.
You wanted my big sword.
Pause.
You can have it.
Pause.
Huntsman told the sword for leash. This is my respect.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey not playing. Hold on.
Shark sensation.
Yeah, big scratch.
Is I need a fifth healer.
Okay, speaker base.
네, richtig 사무이. Ein schwerer Fried nimmt sich.
Oh. Wait, is the main person the girl? Cause yeah, she definitely died last part. So what?
He's the receipt.
Wait, which one is her?
네, richtig 사무이. Ein schwerer Fried nimmt sich.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how in the world is she still alive?
He's the receipt.
Okay, let's go. Let me guess, it's gonna be a cliffhanger. Right when they're about to
The
win.
new Skibidi Toilet toys are here. Take aim with the Plunger Blaster. Bring the battle to life with
Okay.
6-inch deluxe action figures.
Sorry, I say 6 inches. Hold on.
Bring the battle to life with 6-inch deluxe action figures. And customize non-stop chaos with Skibidi modifiers. The Skibidi Toilet Toy Collection.
We got Skibidi Legos. My theory is she faked her death. That's what I think. Or something, bro. Maybe she had a backup body. I don't know. Cause like the other guy said, they never showed her body get destroyed or whatever he was saying. Okay.
Available at Walmart, Target, and more.
Skibidi Legos. All your Skibidi needs.
Skibidi Toilet 79 Part 3 arrived. We saw new battles with the Hunter, a new Astro variant, the return of an enigmatic character, and we finally arrive at the speaker base. And towards the end, the mystery skyrockets and we find out that we can't even know what's real anymore. But while we got the conclusion to the ambush in the void, some aspects left viewers annoyed. I'll lay my opinion up front. The events in this episode are
Yeah, like how is she alive?
awesome, but there most certainly were some strange issues, which have completely taken over the discussion. In this video, we will unpack it all. Let's jump right into the Skibidi. Yo guys, Plunger here! The episode begins where we left off, with our small group escaping the camera base in the void via large TV
Oh, the real one could be dead. Yeah, that's true.
man. However, Before anything else happens, we get a brand new exchange of dialogue. The POV speakerman questions Polycephaly on why he'd risk so much to save them, since they aren't as important, with Poly replying,
Idiot. You are all important to me.
W.
Guys, let's take a moment to appreciate this absolute GOAT. He defies all of the negative traits we commonly observe in TV men, and is one of the most respectable and courageous alliance members we have. Then, much like before, our journey is interrupted by the corrupted. The Watchman of Doom kinda just hangs around for the most part, while the smaller Astros do the dirty work. Firstly, we get jumped by the Hunter and some Astro interceptors, with the specialists following closely behind. Polycephaly mentions that he can't fight here, likely meaning that it is incredibly risky, as it could result in stranding everyone that is being transported. So we actually exit the void, and we end up in this wide-open outdoor area. This is the first of a few interesting things this episode reveals about void travel, as it means that TV teleportation can freely be interrupted and relocated at will. We did see something similar with Titan TV Man in episode 74, but this shows just how flexible that is. In the background outside, the sky is red, and we can see these strange structures in the distance, which look almost like they belong to the Astros, with orange energy. I'm curious if this is a place known to the TV men, or was arriving here a total accident. At the very least, it makes for a good battleground.
Probably accident.
Most notably though, the Watchman of Doom didn't teleport here with us. Hunter engages with large TV man, while the rest deal with the specialists. Then once the Hunter jumps up onto his back, Polycephaly just rips Bro in half like wet toilet paper. Bro got the dark speaker man treatment. Luckily for the Hunter, this didn't faze him one bit. Barely an inconvenience. He simply remarks that his job is done, then Boy bounces. We'll definitely be seeing Hunter again. Boom has said that's kinda his thing, to get repaired fast. Poly should've ripped that ring off him, to be honest. Next, something unexpected happens. Just as we enter the void for the second time, a new type of Astro unit warps up to us and shoots at us.
Yep.
As far as we know right now, this mofo is named Shedder, which has been reported by an Invis employee. I guess because he sheds tracking devices? Some wanted to call him Annihilator, which sounds cool, but personally, I'm happy to move away from having too many Astros titles just be a synonym for destroying. They look a lot like an obliterator, but rather than lasers, they have these little arms and a weapon underneath that shoots projectiles. After the shot, everyone is unharmed, prompting confusion. Once alone in the void, the group try and figure out what just happened. Somehow, our POV is able to detect that there are 6 nearby foreign sources.
But he only took out like 4. That's why I was like, there's 2 more still.
Which Poly assumes must be tracking devices. This isn't explained at all though, not even with a visual cue like in 78. He runs up to 2 of them like he already knew where they were. I have to assume Boy can use some sound shenanigans to test the vibrations of nearby entities, but it's mostly guesswork at the moment. The last tracking device is found sticking out of the Hunter's Gaiat, who ended up being the leg we saw in the previous
The Hunter's Gat. The other destroyed tracker too? Okay.
spoiler. And with that, we are safe. We can leave. Well, not quite. Before we can, Watchman of Doom enters the void again. And this time, Bro has bigger company. 2 obliterators. Look at this dude's grin on the left. He also has 2 interceptors flying around him like vultures for some reason.
They said no one-on-ones.
When he arrives, he is facing the wrong way. This is also interesting. Seems when you enter the void, you end up in a random location and orientation. He quips at us, calling the group clankers. Who's gonna tell him? He then taunts us once again, proclaiming that they now own this place. Polycephaly then asks Watchman to 1v1 on swords. Bro really wants a sword fight with a Titan. What a Chad. The 2 TV bros exchange blows, Poly dodging multiple homing claws. However, he can't avoid them all, and gets absolutely pinned to the floor, almost splitting Bro in half. Many were assuming that Poly would die this episode, and at the very least, he came damn close to it. Watchman of Doom begins approaching with his arm sword, and yeah, we don't stand a chance against that. He jokes that Polycephaly wanted his big long sword. Bro, really? What these Astros got Bro saying? We know that the Astros can control his speech, but to me this felt like something TV men would joke about, rather than something the Astros made him say. Maybe the core penetrator draws upon your personality, even if it's controlling your speech? I don't know, to be honest, but I did prefer the more serious and melancholy dialogue from before. But then we see him, the myth, the legend, Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a complete enigma, bro.
Yeah, Jeffrey was going crazy.
Dude calls Titan TV Man a mad dog off their leash, and asserts that he in fact is God here, that this is his universe, and then gives Titan TV Man an enormous slap. look at the size of bro's arm. Yeah, he could pick a Titan up like an action figure. Dude's like 4 times the size of Titan TV, man. Maybe larger. Well, if he had a human body, that is, but he might not. He's quite low to the ground for how large that arm is, and we can't make all that much out of what his body looks like. He certainly looked like he was running in 78. But he might just be an upper torso. But how on earth did he get so big? Was he built that size deliberately? Or does the void mess with space and time that much? I don't know, but this could answer why he's stuck there. Perhaps there's a size limit on teleportation, and once bro entered, he could never leave. Or, to be honest, maybe he wants to stay there? He seems pretty content with it, proud even. Man, this episode just compounds on the questions I have, bro. I love this kind of thing. With this new distraction, the group finally exit the void, and we finally make it to the speaker base safely. Well, as safely as you can, after being pinned to the ground by a claw bigger than yourself, of course. Speaking of that claw, it doesn't travel with us. That's our third interesting note about teleportation this episode. Perhaps if something is physically embedded into the floor of the void, it won't automatically travel with you. Now, let's take a good look at the speaker base. It's very red indeed. As I stated in my spoiler analysis, there are speakers goddamn everywhere. If anyone
Oh my. JJK.
infiltrates this place, they are so cooked, bro. I find it interesting that they have their own Dark Speaker Man statue on the same plinth as the Plunger Man one. It's almost as if the day they both died, both factions grieved together and made the decision in unison. So, is the base underwater? We still can't be sure of its location. We never see the outside. However, this might be a bit of a clue, potentially. Much like how we never saw the outside of the TV base because it was underground, perhaps the outside of the speaker base is similarly inaccessible, such as being submerged. But we'll just have to wait and see, my lil dop-dops. We see these boys moving on these lil futuristic-looking speaker scooters, moving containers. And my little friends, the flying speaker drones. But
Oh, okay.
I'm still curious. Are these things alive? Were they human? Petition for Boom to make an entire season on speaker drone lore. Interestingly, everyone here looks normal, as in suit and tie vibes. No Armada soldiers. I honestly expected it to be more bustling, but the room was fairly vacant. My guess is that with the Armada possibly still out fighting, the cameraman equipment needing storage, and Titan speakermen actively being worked on, everyone's just distracted elsewhere. Also, we have no idea how big this place is yet. It could be an enormous network of rooms and tunnels, where sections are specialized, and everyone is more spread out. What I'm most curious about, though, is where on earth DJ and SWAT are. I definitely expected to see DJ at the very least. He'd do well with some of that sweet, sweet Armada tech. I guess they just chillin' with Jimbo. Anyway, after arriving, our point of view looks around a bit, and then something strange catches our attention. We zoom in. Oh my goodness. Look, Kathy isn't dead, guys. We can take my video and yeet it in the trash can because that thing is outdated. But wait. It's not so simple, guys. When we ask about her dying, she knows nothing about it. In fact, the scientist TV man mentions she's been at the speaker base for hours. Seeing our confusion, Detective Cameraman takes our camera for later analysis, which I think we'll see in the season. We can't trust anything anymore. Which Kathy is actually Kathy? Is she the one at the speaker base, or the one that lost her face?
What?
The mysterious figure behind her in part 2 would suggest
Right, I completely forgot about that.
that this is the most suspicious Kathy, and the POV footage is likely to be what the detective investigates in the season. And we did see that suspicious chair in part 1, though it didn't move. But if this was the case, why would they give us this vision? Did seeing that influence us, or aid us on our mission? I can't see a good purpose in making us think she's dead in that moment. Normally when the agents manipulate events, it's to push or motivate the Alliance to do certain things, such as the fake message in 66. But here the only other thing we do is look around and run away. Also, it would mean that the entire time, even when she let out the group earlier on, she was fake, which is wild, but not so fast. This one could be the Sightbender, which would mean Kathy is in fact dead. What if this was their plan? What if they wanted to have Kathy die at the camera base in order to take her place? But if that were true, why would they allow our camera to record it? When you know it's some administrator BS, but you can't prove it. The main factor that complicates either theory here is that the Kathy at the speaker base was there for hours. Regardless which one is real, it doesn't make sense that the fake one would stick around while the other one is just provably hanging around elsewhere. Because of that, I think this mystery runs even deeper. I really want to know your thoughts about Kathy here. Which one do you think was real? Personally, I think the camera-based Kathy was the fake. She appears out of nowhere, and we have no testimony that she was there for hours. Do you agree? After removing their camera, we get a good look at the OG speakerman. He's quite damaged and shaken. Then, we hear some distant sounds, and these huge doors
Bro, I don't know which one's real, bro. This is crazy.
begin to slide open. Titan's speakerman's voice bellows out, telling his comrades, "Take your time, friends. I'll go when I'm ready. Don't rush it." Scientist TV asks if he's ready, and the speakerman answers, "Almost." This is for sure the kind of return that Boom mentioned in an interview. In fact, let's go over Boom's hints for part 3 and see if we can match them up. Happy and hyped is definitely the speaker base and Titan speakerman. I thought the new information would be the new captions or exposition about G-Toilet and the Astros.
Real one dying, other one's fake. Yeah. I mean, that would make sense. That makes sense.
But thus far, we didn't get anything like that. And there are no new captions on older episodes like 60 or Season 23. So, this could be referring to something else. But that, as promised, is confusing to me. I'm not sure what other information Boom has promised within 79 above learning about Episode 60. The meme upgrades are certainly both the tracking device and the 2 obliterators. I wanted to see Pablo, but I guess he's still out and about. The thing that will make people worried and sad is certainly the slight scratch that Polycephaly gets in the void. The thing that is confusing and upsetting, while giving others relief, I felt certain would be about Titan Cameraman. Boom has previously stated we'd know what happened to him soon, but now, it's clear that this is talking about Kathy's mysterious return. It's certainly confusing, it'll upset some people that felt strongly about her death, and obviously it'll give relief to anyone that wanted her back. And finally, this last one is most certainly talking about Jeffrey. Those emojis were literally me when I saw that. Okay guys, now let's talk about the dominating elephant in the room glued to the side of this episode like the SKIBIDI translator. It's pretty clear to everyone that this part had some interesting aspects, to say the least. If you've watched my content, y'all know I've often defended SKIBIDI Toilet, be it the creator's work ethic, wait times, longevity, and also the writing. I don't feel like taking time to cook up longer, more cinematic episodes is an issue, and I will always preach patience.
Yes, bro. I'd rather wait and get a good episode than a rushed trash one.
I don't feel like we can judge a storyline in one part of an episode before we see where it's leading. Again, I will always preach patience, and I'll always defend a creator's passion for quality over quantity, and dismiss making baseless assumptions about their efforts or motivations. And as a result, I've rarely if ever criticized the series regarding its most commonly argued aspects. That is not empty glazing. That's how I genuinely feel. And here's how I genuinely feel about 79 Part 3. It needed more time, quite a bit more time. There are tangible issues in Part 3 that stick out like the tracking device in the
I agree. It was just getting good, then it ended.
Hunter's cheeks. Just so we all understand what people are talking about, let's go over the examples of complaints which have been directed at Part 3. Not to complain or mock the episode at all, just so we are all on the same page. The 4 major categories of things that stuck out to people are the sound design, editing, glitching, and animation. The sound design in this part is noticeably unfinished. Compare Polycephaly's line in Part 2 to Part 3.
Nothing goes according to plan these days.
This voice is now missing all of the atmosphere, reverb, and processing it had previously. Other interesting examples include delayed sound effects for the detainer claws, and pulling out the blade.
Goes according to plan these days.
The looping screams in the void, or the sound of the doors at the end, which also loops. To me, it feels as if the action scenes were designed for music, but it was removed last second. If there was a grandiose track over the action, it'd hide a lot of the sound effects oddities. You don't have to be as meticulous with sounds when there's music filling the space, but that's just a guess. Now for some of the visual complaints. Firstly, when we turn to see the new Astro unit, there's a sudden cut rather than a crossfade. If you saw my glitches video, you'll know all about crossfades. Splices are nothing new to SKIBIDI Toilet, but this is the first time one was left in completely unfaded. There is also another one, but it's less noticeable. In addition, the entire shot of the Astro plays at half speed, which makes the warping in feel a bit choppy. To be clear, this has nothing to do with the animation. It's purely the editing. To demonstrate, I've re-edited the shot myself to both smooth the transition and restore the true footage speed. Here's a comparison. I'm not saying that's how Boom intended it. He obviously slowed the footage down for pacing. I'm merely demonstrating how such simple editing changes have such noticeable consequences. Now for glitches. In intense moments like explosions, and towards the end when we are at the speaker base, there are some blocky, low-resolution frames, or glitching.
Not gonna lie, I did notice that.
This is likely an issue with some segments having too low a bitrate. In addition, there are also issues with elements glitching in and out in the speaker base, particularly on the ceiling. You'll see elements flash in and out of light like specks of glitter. This is something that happened within SFM, and I'm not exactly qualified to speculate on how to fix that kind of thing. Animation is another thing pointed to. However, in my opinion, animation is the least of this episode's issues. In fact, I think it's very well animated. Problem is, with certain details thrown into question, it's tough to know what's deliberate and what's not. It's one thing to point out what feels off, but another to try and figure out why. Boom is seemingly quite the perfectionist. Why would this kind of thing slip through? I've seen a few theories floating about. Some believe it as deliberate distortions tied to episode lore. Some believe it to be an elaborate troll from Boom, to those who want Boom to release faster, based on what Titan Speakerman says at the end. And some even believe these are genuine mistakes. Now I could dive deep into these theories. However, I don't want to spread rumors or make assumptions. Everyone could guess all day. I'd rather wait on word from Boom himself. And, well, word came, but it was a troll response, with an overly polite message and a video that'll blow your ears away, with extra loud screaming and extra fadey fades. So, in the end, we still aren't sure. As we all know, this is a part. It has 2 opportunities to be updated. In the full episode, anything not deliberate can be fixed, and anything rushed can be given the care it deserves. All that said, guys, I definitely don't dislike part 3. Yep, I'm back to glazing as per usual, but for real, it's genuinely interesting, high stakes, and mysterious. It gives us an intense, lengthy battle, struggle, and also twists and ties mystery threads even tighter. There's a lot to love. And as much as the issues I discussed might distract you, they are all merely polish. While this kind of polish is absolutely necessary, it is, by nature, just on the surface. Like I demonstrated before, there's a very fine line between something that gets complaints and something that feels fine. I hope that you can appreciate that, even with its issues currently, this still represents a lot of hard work. The core 99% of it is unarguably extremely well made. Until we get a clear answer why this episode was released with some quirks, we can discuss and share thoughts respectfully. But remember, it's not helpful to assume the reasons, nor is it helpful to get mad with Boom. And that's it, guys. Those are my thoughts on this very interesting part. Let me know what you'd want to see happen next in the series. For me, I can't help but imagine Jeffrey versus the Mothership Bro. That'd go crazy. Thank you all for tuning in. The day the episode released, I had 0 sleep, so I didn't rush on this video.
Dang.
I appreciate you all for watching and understanding. Subscribe.
Okay. Very interesting. It was a good video. It was a good video. I'm already ready for the next one. I'm already ready for the next one.